as I proceed to work. Feet hurt, knees in the dirt as I cheese for jerks. On my life, I show my wife to get that bite. On my life, I blow my pipe to save my life. Ever walked the red carpet at school with blue blockers? Been a virgin in conversation with boot knockers. Get your shoes poppin' for you kick it with tube sockers. Been hit from the blind and survived like who shot you? Ain't no biggie to send me privy to stay with me. Paint your city with thug to see the hate in me. Like I knew his route, jump out in the dark alley. Sick of the bull, got pissed on like.
What it do, my people? It's BFA Flex, BFA FL to the E double, and I'm coming to you with another episode of the Hurt Biz Boxing Podcast. And yes, we're talking about a big fight, a possible big fight. It's in the loom. So, Shakur Stevenson, the defensive guru, is set to face Teofimo, the prodigy, Lopez. This is a very interesting fight here, you guys. We're going to get some different takes on it during the build-up. But besides the amount of N-words that we're going to hear during the build-up, this is a legacy fight. So these guys are around the same age. They're pretty familiar with each other. They've come up in the amateurs with each other, and they both were big deals in the amateurs. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, of course, Shakur Stevenson was a better amateur, but he is a silver gold medalist in the Olympics, so that speaks for a lot as well. But we're about to dissect this fight. And feel free to comment, feel free to subscribe, feel free to share this. But we have Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. It could be next. Is it a great fight or is it a mismatch? Which advantages do both fighters have in this fight? We're going to go over some attributes and we're going to dissect them and see who has the edge. So we got Shakur Stevenson versus Teo. The speed advantage. Personally, I think they both are very explosive and fast fighters. I'm going to put that about even. I would say Shakur is a lot sharper. His punches are a lot shorter. So they could get to their target a lot faster. But speed and explosiveness, we're going to put them about even right now. I could change my opinion closer to the fight. Okay, so we're moving on. We're going to power. Let's talk about power. Wow. So I'm going to give Teofimo Lopez the edge in the power section. So in that category, I believe Teofimo Lopez is just a little bit more explosive than Shakur Stevenson. I'm not saying that either guy will stop either guy in this fight because I do not see either of them getting knocked out or stopped. But as far as actually being able to back someone up in this fight, I do believe possibly Teo would be the aggressor. So we're talking about reach next. Reach. So whose arms are longer in this fight? So if you look it up, they're pretty much even. They're pretty much even. Teo has a slight edge, a half-inch edge in the reach division. So we're going to move on to height. So when we're talking about height, they're pretty much even in that category as well. With Shakur Stevenson having a height of 5'8", and Teo being between 5'8" and 5'9", they're pretty much even. And even in an interview at the big legacy fight that just occurred, the Canelo versus Crawford, we seen these guys side by side, and they pretty much are the same exact size. Of course, a casual would say, oh, Shakur Stevenson is coming up in weight. He comes from 126 pounds. But you guys could be surprised in this fight, and Shakur Stevenson could be the stronger fighter and the more aggressive, and be the one actually pushing T.O. back, at least at points in this fight. Because just moving on, and just to throw out something that set these guys apart is their IQ. And I believe Shakur Stevenson is a way more dynamic fighter. That does not mean that Teofimo does not have a great chance at winning this fight. I don't see him winning, but he still is a very talented fighter, and we're privileged to even get this fight with these two type of fighters going into the inception of their prime, because I don't believe that they're even in the heart of their prime right now. I believe they're just moving into the inception of their prime right now, both fighters. So it's a privilege for us to get this type of fight right now. So strength, we kind of touched on it, but I do believe T.O. has the advantage strength-wise. That does not mean that he will not be getting pushed back at certain points in this fight. Moving on to IQ, I've already expressed that I feel Shakur Stevenson is a way more dynamic fighter than T.O. So he's going to be able to adjust more ways than T.O. will be able to adjust to his style or his styles. He's stylistic, just as well as I said about Terrence Bud Crawford before his big win. But I do believe Shakur Stevenson is a stylistic fighter as well. So moving on to chin. That chin. So I believe both fighters have good chins. I don't think Shakur has ever touched the canvas. We have seen T.O. touch the canvas, but that is not an ongoing issue, or it was a flash knockdown and he got up and arguably won that fight, but made it a close fight. He lost in the end, but he made it a close fight. It was ugly, it was dirty, but we see the warrior spirit in T.O. So neither guy is coming to lose. So that adds a whole nother aspect to the fight. Moving on. Lastly, overall athleticism. Both guys are very athletic, unbelievably athletic. I'm giving them even. So I do believe this is the biggest fight of both of their careers. Yes, T.O. has fought Loma. Loma isn't Shakur Stevenson. So based on the advantage in the fight, who wins? And is it still a 50-50 fight? So we're talking about the five kings. Of course, Loma retired. And Haney and Garcia, they outgrew weight classes. So it's just a pleasure to see these two guys get in the ring with each other. When we're talking about all those guys that are around the same age, came up in the amateurs together, and are big names that the casuals and the purists like myself have been calling for to fight. So it's time. You guys are going to get paid now that Turkey Ally Sheik is in the picture. So I'm grateful for that for you guys. So I think the fight can go either way. It's a 50-50 fight. But I do see Shakur winning in an ugly decisional win, if both fighters bring their A game and are actually trying to win the only way they know how. T.O. has wins over notable southpaws like Loma, Josh Taylor, and Sandor Martin, which some people think he arguably lost. I don't. I do believe you can do a little bit too much moving in a fight. Sandor was pretty effective in that, but just like Jermaine Ortiz, when T.O. fought him, T.O. pretty much dictated the pace of that fight. So That's the difference in being a mover and actually dictating the pace of the fight while moving. You have to be effective while moving. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say T.O. has shown difficulties against fleet of foot southpaws. So Shakur could be the best southpaw he's ever faced. If we really curate their career and look over it, we'll see both have faced equal level of competition. So they both will be ready for this fight. They both will be. I'm really excited for a great fight. This should be some of the first coverage you get on it from the media. Please feel free to comment and subscribe. Please feel free. But I'm looking to see way more content on this one. So, do you want to see it? Is it a great fight or is it a mismatch? Of course, I want to see the fight. It's a great fight. The time is now for this fight. I don't want to see anything else right now. It's one of the biggest fights that could possibly be happening. So please tune in to this fight. Hope to get more coverage on this fight and some interviews and get your opinions in the comments. We'll talk more. But as always, thanks for the support. It's the Hurt Biz Boxing Podcast coming to you with exclusive boxing content. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share. All right.